You excited for our show today?
I am always excited for it.
All right, should that be your intro or should we do another intro? Good
That
morning. That was pretty enthusiastic. I don't know
was
if I,
incredibly enthusiastic.
yeah, I don't think that's going to set the tone properly for this episode. I have some bad news. I didn't finish Avatar, even though I postponed us
You
a day.
you had one job.
I did. I'm so sorry. I'm allowed one a year where we're each allowed one a year where we don't have to watch something. And apparently I chose something that
A couple. How much did you get through?
2 episodes.
Oh my God.
I don't know what was happening. I guess we're starting the discussion of Avatar right now. But I started the first episode and I was kind of into it, because it's the opening scene was like when they destroyed the Air Nomad temple, right?
hmm
Was it that wasn't how it opened in the cartoon, was it?
No.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is like fresh and unique and stuff, and I'm like, this is fun. And then as it went on, I'm like, what am I doing? Like this is I didn't think it was bad. I just wasn't interested. It didn't hook me at any point. I wrote notes and I'm like, this is like because it followed the cartoon relatively faithfully from memory for the most part in the 2 episodes I saw.
Parts of it, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is just the same thing. But anyway, what did you think? I made you watch the whole thing. Did you
You did.
enjoy it?
I would have watched prob it eventually, I assume.
Yeah.
It was fine. Like
Okay.
I saw a video that referenced an article, I think. That doesn't matter. But they're like what they said was it's not as bad as I feared, but it wasn't as good as I hoped, and that is perfect. It just is
Yeah.
so mediocre. And I think you got to the like you didn't get to the part where they actually switched up a lot of stuff. Like
No.
they still kept it faithful, but they changed like the order of a lot of it, I guess. Like
Okay.
the three, four, five, and six, I think, are all mashed together episodes of like a bunch of different ones. So it's not like the second one's Kyoshi. That one's its own episode in the
Yeah.
animated too. The third one, I think, is Omashu, Jet, and the Northern Air Temple all mushed together.
Okay. Did it
Yeah, so
feel
they did that a
smushed?
lot.
Did it
Yes.
feel compressed? Okay. I mean, what do you think that it's better that they switched it up a bit?
Yeah, because then their ceiling would be the cartoon, and it was like there's no point to watching the live action instead of the cartoon
Right.
if it's the exact same.
I feel like people just, I mean, I haven't looked into that many reactions to this show.
hmm
I've seen a few videos of people saying they either liked it or disliked it or whatever. But I imagine that if it was, I imagine some people are upset given the very limited amount of reactions I've seen to it because they changed some things.
hmm
But if they didn't change anything, then people would also be upset because then what's the point? Then you're just doing the Lion King remake in 2019.
Yeah,
It's the
and
exact same movie,
we don't
but
need
in
that.
live action. Like it's just pointless. So I think it's good that they, switch things up. What do you think of the cast? From what I saw, one of my notes is, where did I write that? They nailed how whiny Sokka is. He's so goddamn whiny. It's so
Yeah.
annoying, but it's perfect. Like I didn't hate
No,
it because I think that's correct.
he's really good. They have a couple that I really like the casting, even if like it felt weird at first.
Yeah.
I think my biggest issue is most of the characters are just written horribly compared
Yeah.
to, and that like kind of turns me off on a lot of them, which don't take that out of context
Yeah,
because
everybody out there, if you take that out
some
of
people are
context, we will
creepy
contact our lawyers.
and are like complaining about like why that Azula looks 14 even though she's
Why? Yeah.
14.
I was so confused, because I deleted TikTok again. We'll have a running segment on whether or not I have TikTok or I deleted it again. This time I deleted it because I kept getting Dune spoilers for the books. And I was like, I
Oh,
didn't look
okay.
for them. I haven't interacted with any Dune videos. It just kept spoilering the books for me. And I'm like, I didn't want to know that. So I deleted it. But yeah, people are like, oh, Zuko's not hot enough. And I'm like, they're children. I don't
Yeah.
know how old they're supposed to be, but they're
I think
young, right?
Zuko's the oldest, and he's 16. And either Zuko or maybe also Sokka, but there's 16 is the oldest of the main characters.
Yeah,
The
what
rest I
like
wrote, but
it's so strange that people want. I don't know. Do you think it's because people grew up with the cartoons and I feel like a lot of people's maybe first crush was Zuko or whatever that lady's name is on Kyoshi Island.
oh, Suki.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
so
mean,
you when you grow up, you want to see the characters you had a crush on as a kid and still be attracted to them even though they're children. I don't know, it's weird.
maybe. I mean, it also might just be because it's a cartoon and none of them look like kids besides like Aang. So,
Yeah, I mean, they still look young though.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's not necessarily to excuse it. But Zuko, like, he could be like 18,
Oh
19.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I
he could
wouldn't
be
be
that kind of
surprised
stuff.
if in
So
the
they
cartoon
feel
he
less
was
guilty
18.
for
Yeah,
finding him attractive. But now that he's not and he looks younger because he's
because he
accurate.
is a
Yeah.
child, I assume. I don't know how old that guy is, but oh God,
It's
yeah.
best. It's weird regardless. But yeah, so that's they're all
That's our
really
Avatar
good.
review.
There's
Thank you for
some
tuning in.
really frustrating things, but I mean, I don't know what like is like the best order to go about it because I don't want to just shit on it because
Okay,
I
well, we'll
enjoyed
start. I've got some
some.
questions that I wrote from the first episode.
Okay.
We can do that. We can just talk about whatever comes to mind. I don't I think the casting is great from what I saw.
Hmm.
Uh I don't know. They aren't great actors, but they're also children. It
Yeah,
reminded me of the
they're doing
Percy
the best they
Jackson
could.
series. Like they actually cast children in the Percy Jackson series. So like the line delivery and just the dialogue in general kind of felt bad or like kind of felt flat and not
Hmm.
great, but it's like children delivering them. It's a show for kids. I don't know if Avatar really is trying to do the same thing, but I imagine like this is a show for kids. Avatar, the last cartoon, Airbender, was a
Eh,
children's show. It's not something that only kids can enjoy, but it's a kids show.
I feel like the live action is less of a kid show.
I only got through. I lied. It was like 1.5 episodes.
Like, I guess there's nothing that really deters them. It's just they do show more violence.
Okay.
It's not like insane. Like, I don't think it's scar any kids, but
Yeah. The bending's really good.
oh, the bending's great. The
Yeah.
bending, the action, the visuals, all incredible, which
I
that's
have a
nice.
one of the notes I wrote is I don't think the airbending visual is enough because it's like a very slight blur
Hmm.
on the air that Aang is bending. And I'm like, it just looks like he's waving his hands around, which he
Yeah.
is. But like, I don't know, in the cartoon, like when he does like when he rides on an air ball, it's
Hmm.
like blue, right? I feel like they should have done something like that to make it look a little bit more, tangible. Even though I know it's air, so it's not tangible. But
Yeah, I mean, I do think also in the cartoon that is exclusively there for us too. So
yeah,
it's not like they can't see anything. That's why they're so confused a lot of the time. But like we see it because it helps.
yeah, but I feel like they should have still done that. I don't remember what
Well,
they
yeah,
did in
yeah.
the Shyamalan movie, what they did with the airbending.
He
All
never
that
aired
bending
it.
is terrible. Oh, you didn't? I wouldn't be surprised. Because I
I
remember
have no idea.
before I watched the show at all, this is like right after it came out, it was like a clip of Aang flying without his staff or
Hmm.
glider or whatever. And I was in my head, I'm like, well, he's probably just airbending. And he
Yeah,
was. But like you just can't tell because there's not really an effect on it at all.
yeah, it looks incredibly goofy. So even if it is like he's not flying, which is something you can technically do in
Right.
Avatar, but I don't know. I disliked that part too because they made it too close to him just looking like he's flying around, and that
That's
just
why
seemed
I
like
feel
such
like
a
they needed to
weird
add in.
introduction to him.
Yeah. I feel like they needed to add in just a little bit more for the air effect. Like just discolor the air slightly, make it green. Don't make it
Yeah, or just
green.
speed it up a
Make it
little bit.
right. I don't know, but I have a question for you as the
Hmm.
greatest biggest Avatar fan in the world.
Oh, totally.
Can airbenders blow fire?
Blow fire.
Like if you're a firebender and I'm an airbender and you throw fire at me, can't I just blow it with my mouth? I'm gonna cut that part out. I'm very tired. I don't know what's going on, but
I mean, you do see that happen
I know,
throughout.
but I
I
feel
feel like
like
is where
you
like they'll
just be
shoot
able to do
fire or
that
there is fire and
very
you just
easily.
blast it.
Yeah. I guess it depends on who's stronger.
Yeah, because it might be something where like you are putting the wind against it to blow it out, but like it's kind of
But
its
the
own
but the force of the
being of
fire,
source. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
like because they talk
I
about
mean,
how it has its own heartbeat and stuff like that. It's not literally its own thing, but it might have that kind
oh.
of ability to not just like get blown out like regular fire.
Well, I wrote this note and then at the end of the opening sequence in the first episode, one of the monks does a tornado and then they just set the tornado on fire and she boils to death or something. Not boils, is
Yeah.
burnt to death. So I guess like it does depend on like if you're a firebender, I'm an airbender, which is
Hmm.
how it would go because I'm little and bald. But like if you're better at firebending than I am at airbending, you could force the fire past my defenses, I guess.
Hmm.
But I had another question. So what was the Air Nomads' plan? They're gonna do the Aang's friend, monk friend,
Hmm.
doesn't want to tell him he's the Avatar, but then all the other monks are like, you gotta tell him right now because the Fire Nation is gonna attack the Earth Nation, so we gotta prepare him. What was their plan there? It's like it's already too late.
Well, I don't think they realized that. they were going to come immediately for the air nomads because
Right, but
they said the Earth Kingdom. So they if
yeah.
he's trained enough, he might have been able to help and like save them. But
How
at that
quickly can you
stage,
train
he
him?
wouldn't have been able to do anything. Not very, because he
Okay, so
already mastered airbending. But they'd have to send it. Well, he's pretty much mastered airbending, but he'd have to
right.
send him to other stuff, and he wouldn't be able to learn that stuff so quickly that he could then come back and protect them. I feel like.
And I feel like they'd already be fucked. Because, like, who's going to teach him firebending? Who's going to, like, if the Fire Nation actually did destroy the Earth Kingdom, who's going to teach him
Mhm.
earthbending? So I feel like they were like, well, we got to tell him now, even though, like, there's not really much time. So they were going to get kind of screwed over anyway. Like, but
Yeah,
you're
but
right. They
that was
didn't
kind of
know
their
they were
only thing to
coming.
do. Yeah,
I
because
would
they
have,
it's not like they could just do nothing.
yeah, you're right. I guess that was a dumb question. Thank you.
Yeah, come on, Ray, come on.
Here's not a dumb question.
hmm
So in the cartoon, did Aang freeze in the water because he just flew into a storm like a
No,
fucking
I hated
idiot?
that. That's
Okay,
something that I
what
add.
was he doing?
So
Was
they
he like
show it in the episode
fleeing?
The Storm. He was running away from his
That's what I
responsibility. Like he
thought.
was literally running away, and that adds to his character and that character arc because he has to like
Right.
it's actually his fault for him being gone for 100 years.
Yeah.
And this time they got rid of
I
that.
mean, I guess he was
It is not
kind
his
of
fault
running.
anymore. No,
He
he went to clear
wasn't
his
running.
head. He
Yeah,
was not
he
running.
was going to think about it. So he wasn't
Yeah.
running, but he was removing himself to like create some distance so he can contemplate. But then he just flew into a fucking storm like an idiot. And then
No,
he's
he
like, "Hey,
just
Appa, it's terrifying. Let's turn around." So they turn around and they immediately just get frozen. And I'm like, "This
yeah,
is
like they don't give him responsibility on what happens, and despise that because then it's not his fault. So then you have all these people being pissed at him, and like, sure, they can be pissed, but Aang can't really be like, "Oh, damn,
Oh
I
yeah,
ran
I mean
away."
he
Like
can feel
it's
guilty,
my
but it's
fault.
not going to make any sense for the live
Yeah.
action version. Okay,
So
I'm glad that it wasn't in the cartoon because I saw that and that's when I started writing my notes and I paused it and I wrote my first note, then I did this note
yeah,
because
no,
I
I
was like
think
that's baffling.
there's so many changes they made, and there's not like we talked about. There's nothing wrong with them making changes, but a lot of the changes they made were unwarranted and just dumb in the context of the story, and it kind of like ruins a lot of aspects, and that's a big
Right.
one.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. That because I was like I remember the cartoon being more or better written than Aang flew into a storm by
Yeah.
his because he was an idiot. I read another question, but I figured out later. Did Zuko's dad banish him, assuming he'd never find the Avatar? So it was kind of like a fool's errand.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, because I know Iroh told Zuko, at least in the live action one. Sorry, everybody out there. I love the cartoon, but don't remember that much about it. I haven't seen it in several years, but
Bro,
yeah,
rewatch
because
it.
I will. That's what I should have done instead of watching the two episodes. You know what I did instead?
What?
All week I edited like a bunch. I
hmm
started that show Resident Alien. I got hooked
Oh
on
yeah,
Resident Alien. I started reading the Mindhunter book and I watched
the
Indiana Jones
book.
and the
Okay,
Dial of Destiny. So I
how
did
was
a
that?
lot of it was fun. It's crazy. Do you mind if I spoil it for you?
Sure, I don't care.
Okay. So you know how in Indiana Jones movies there's always like a little bit of a supernatural element. Like in the first
hmm
one, the Ark of the Covenant like burns everyone's face or melts people.
hmm
In this one, there's time travel.
I
And
guess Dial of Destiny. That makes
yeah.
sense.
And I thought, because like it's post World War II, set immediately after America landed on the moon. And because you know how they got Nazi scientists to
hmm
help with the NASA program, one of those scientists, Indiana Jones, faced off against during World War II. He survived and he helped build the he helped with the moon landing. And then he decided, like, I'm gonna get this dial of destiny, go back in time and be a Nazi again, or continue being a Nazi, but back in World War II, I guess. And so I'm like, oh, they're gonna go back to World War II. It's gonna be kind of interesting to see like, a full circle return for like old Indiana Jones goes back to like
hmm
when he started, and I don't know. But what happens is they do time travel, but they go back to ancient Rome. And
That
that's
sneeze
okay.
ruined my
I
reaction.
I
What the hell?
I paused so I could cut that out, but I'll leave it in. Yeah, they go back to ancient Rome, and I was watching it with our mom, and it was just so much fun. I was like, this is so stupid.
Damn.
They like go back. It's like fun. It's interesting that they go back to ancient Rome because like the guy who built the Dial of Destiny is Archimedes, who I think is Greek, and it was like the Romans attacking the Greeks or something. No, I don't think he's Greek, but he's someone. And so they go back to the battle right before Archimedes, I think, dies,
hmm
and Indiana Jones meets him. But yeah,
Daps him up. Says,
it was a lot
"What's
of
up,
fun.
dude?" That's good.
It's not great. I would say watch it if you
Is
want,
it better
but
than Crystal
yeah.
Skull? Okay, then I'll probably watch it eventually.
What do you think is a worse movie, Crystal Skull or Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Do you
the
have to
Shyamalan
even
one?
You have to ask that.
No, but yeah, so I should have just watched the cartoon because it's better. I've heard people are complaining or upset about Boomy, like
Yeah,
how they
he
changed his
wasn't great.
characterization. What? 'Cause I saw a photo of like the look. I mean, it looks great,
Yeah, he
but
doesn't, I mean, he
like,
doesn't look horrible. It's more he's extremely bitter towards Aang, it comes off
okay,
as. And so instead of him kind of casually teaching him stuff and like clearly knowing what's going on and like intentionally trying to like help Aang, it's
yeah,
kind of him just being a dick to Aang.
okay,
And
Th-
Aang like immediately is like, oh, Boomy, instead of it being like a big mystery, even though like we as the audience kind of know. It's not, it's pretty easy to guess.
right,
But Aang didn't know until the end of the episode initially, and now he knows like the second he sees him.
okay. Did
So
we
it's
meet Toph in this season?
tough. No, that's second season.
Well, I didn't know what the live action would do.
Oh yeah, no. They did add the secret tunnel stuff, which is the beginning of season two. It is in this season for some reason.
Okay,
And it's with Sokka and Katara instead of Aang and Katara. Like obviously Sokka and Katara aren't doing anything, but like they're the two in the tunnel instead of Aang and Katara being in the tunnel.
wow. Is it like sibling love instead of
Yes.
love love?
Yeah. And they do a little like twist, I guess, spoilers for
I don't.
you.
I deserve this.
um in the cartoon, they find out that if the light turns off, then there's a bunch of crystals on the ceiling that they can follow to the exit. And in this one, the light goes off and they see the crystals, so they start following it, and then it turns out that that was not it at all, and it was completely like a fool's errand essentially.
Oh,
And so that was a nice little
okay.
one because they found that out like immediately, and I was like, wow, so they're just gonna ruin like all the like them just wandering around aimlessly, but then they did it
Right.
anyway. So I kind of
Okay.
liked that.
Yeah. What else did you like?
I like Zuko and Iroh. I think that was a hard one to do well, and I don't
Yeah.
think they could get the same like they can't do as well, of course, but that's the entire thing. They handle both of them pretty well. Like they add layers to their relationship. They do certain things with them that I think works out fine. The one thing I hate, I know you asked what did I like. One thing I dislike
Trying to keep
is
this positive.
the Zuko and when like he gets his scar,
Oh, do we see
And
that?
we do, but he fights back first. So he
Does
doesn't
he
just
not
sit there.
fight in the first one?
He sits there just begging his father, and then his father just does it anyway. And this one, you
Okay.
see
That's
them
weird.
fight. You see him fight back, which you know what? Fine. Except he kind of holds his own, which is idiotic.
Yeah.
And then he
I mean,
gets
maybe
the
the
upper
dad
hand
was
for a
holding back.
second.
So does he not fight at all in the initial one?
No, he literally sits there on his knees, like apologizing, and his dad is like, "Get up," and he's like, "No."
What did he
And then
do? I don't remember.
he insulted a general's strategy in the war room, but
Oh.
because it was in the war room, that was technically him disrespecting the Fire Lord and not the general. So he thought he was going to fight the general, but he ended up actually fighting his
Oh.
father. And when he figured that out, he was just so like scared that he
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. And then they kind of ruined that.
Okay. What do you think of his scar?
It works. It's kind
Yeah.
of small, I'm honest,
I
but it
mean, do you
works.
remember the scar in the movie is like basically non-existent. It's barely
Oh, is
anything.
it?
Yeah, like look it up. It's like you can if you're looking for it, you can tell. But I feel like they didn't go far enough in the movie. And in this one, you
Oh, yeah, it's not that
it's
dark.
more like you can tell more in the TV show or the live action TV show. But like I still feel like they really needed to go further with it
Hmm.
because it's supposed to be like this like giant thing that you can't not see it if you look at
Yeah.
Zuko.
No,
But
it's still small, but I mean it works well.
yeah. I
And
mean,
I do
maybe they
like
tried to do it big and like dark, but it didn't look natural. Or there might be something to do with like makeup where if it's a giant scar and it's a certain color, it doesn't look
mhm.
real. Like it looks like someone just drawed it on your face. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it works fine. I like Iroh. That was a tough one. I was kind of worried about that, and it I didn't like him at first because he just looked goofy. But no, he does it well, and they kind of handle his character
What
well.
do you think of the look of the show? Do you think it's worse than Shyamalan's one? Because I know people are saying that.
No, I honestly don't get that. I think all the costume design and stuff, the set design, all of it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I like the costumes a lot. The sets were good when they were sets. Or
Hmm.
for, like, but sometimes like the background was very clearly shot on the volume.
Hmm.
And I mean, it makes sense why they do that because it's easier, it's more efficient. I think at least it's cheaper, but I don't know. I kind of wish they used more real locations and
That would have been nice.
yeah, but it doesn't detract that much from the overall thing
No,
because
they did well with the locations and everything. I liked how it looked visually.
yeah,
That's
it was good. It was good enough.
well, it's hard. I mean, we could say this about everything, and I'm going to because
Not Dune Part
I'll repeat
2.
myself like a freaking broken record. They can't match how pretty the cartoon looks.
Oh no,
So
not at
even though
all.
it looks well and they kind of were pretty like they handled what the cartoon made, like all the sets, all the areas they had, they kind of did a good job of making it look like that. And it seems like the world come to life, but they still can't handle just how like amazing the cartoon looks.
Yeah, I mean, there was very little chance they were ever gonna achieve that level of visual
Yeah.
masterpiece status.
Yeah. And obviously comparing the two of them is like a horrible way to look at the new one because
Yeah, but it's gonna
it's only going to
happen.
make it yeah, it's there's no way to not do it, I feel
And
like.
I think it's a fair comparison just in the sense that it is a remake.
Yeah, it has to justify its own existence and it really
Yeah,
doesn't. But I do
I
want to see
don't.
more of it because I'm curious how they end the show.
Probably really well, don't you think?
Yeah.
Don't you think it'll be great?
No, it'll be phenomenal. I think they already have two other seasons and I'm sure people will keep watching because I will keep watching.
I will too. I will finish
You'll
this at
watch it
some
eventually.
point. Yeah. Oh, I mean, what else is there to even say? I have a backup topic for this.
I mean, I have a bunch I can complain about, but I also don't want to just shit on the show.
Yeah, we got to be more positive. Yeah, we
Um,
this has been a milestone week for us. We have an official hater, like a real one. So
so proud
big
of us.
news for us. I don't know. Was there any? Let's go through the casting real quick. What about Aang? He looks the
I
part
don't like Aang,
in
but not
general.
nothing against the actor. I did no, I love Aang and I love the
Oh, I
cartoon.
was like, I didn't know that.
I dislike this Aang completely because he does jack shit.
Yeah.
But that's nothing against the actor. Like he does
No,
a great job.
he
He
looks
looks
the
perfect.
part.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think all the line delivery lands, but not
No.
just for him. It's for any like all of the characters except for the adult ones, I guess.
Yeah, but the writing is not great.
No,
So
the
even if it
writing's
is like
not as fine-tuned as the
no.
cartoon. And if the like a cartoon, I think has a little bit of an edge in terms of not having to need like perfect writing.
Hmm.
Because I don't know, when I rewatched Avatar in like 2020, the animated series, like some of the early episodes are pretty cheesy and
Oh
you know
yeah.
the dialogue's not great and perfect or anything, but like it's an animation, so I guess I forgive it more. But when it's a real person saying these things, I'm like, this is odd.
Yeah. Season one's definitely the weakest.
Yeah.
But I'm rewatching it now, and already I'm so much more invested.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably, much like I imagine Percy Jackson will, much like Harry Potter did,
Hmm.
like the early Harry Potter movies, those first few are kids' movies. They're not, the
Hmm.
acting isn't great. You know, it's just not a very great movie. And I think that we're going to age with the actors, maybe less so with Avatar, because what's the distance or how long is the entire show? What's the time period or time difference between the start and
Technically,
end?
it happens within a summer.
Oh,
Like
Jesus.
it's a couple
Okay.
months. They're not
Then
going to be
never
able to pull
mind.
that off.
Yeah.
So they'll
I was gonna
probably
say because like
elongate
Percy
how long
Jackson
it
is
takes.
like 8 years or something. So we're gonna see the acting improve as the kids get older. But maybe not for this one.
I think we have to because there's no way they're going to churn it out fast enough where the kids don't age. So
I
they might
mean
just
they
have to make it last longer, I guess.
I mean that would be yeah. Unless they do you know if they filmed multiple seasons back to back?
Oh, I have no idea.
I doubt it because Netflix has a habit of canceling shows. But
They do because they're absolutely stupid. They're like, here's a
yeah.
masterpiece, get rid of it. Here's Big Mouth, give it 10 more reasons.
What do you think? What are you saying they got rid of? That's better than Big Mouth of all things.
1899.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's I'm not gonna say it's perfect. It was definitely worse than Dark,
Well, it's
but
better than Big Mouth.
yeah, it's most things are.
People love Big Mouth.
They
Like a
do.
lot of people I know, I don't get it. It's fine. I watched the first season. It took me it was a difficult first season to watch, but I never felt compelled to go back.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch that show. That just
Yeah,
the way it looks, kind of like Beavis and Butthead or whatever. I just can't watch it because of how ugly it just looks. Which is I know it's meant to be a part of the show, but I
right.
just can't.
Okay. Well, I don't think they're going to cancel this because they probably put a
No,
lot of money into it.
and again, people will watch it.
I think people are watching it. Like
Yeah, some
uh,
people hate it and some people don't. It's a mixed bag.
wow. I didn't. I thought it was fine, but again,
Yeah,
no interest. I don't know why. Didn't hook me. Just felt like I'm watching a TV show made for kids, which I was. I'll stand
yeah,
by
that was
that.
kind of how it was the entire time. Like there are moments where I would get into it, like they
Like the
have the blue
opening scene for
spirit.
me.
I got out of it when I saw Aang jumping around like that, just because
Oh
of how
no, the
goofy
opening
it
scene
looked.
where it's the Earth guy running away from the fire guys.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
I was like,
good.
because that immediately showed that they're taking the bending seriously.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if you're. I'm sure you. When was the last time you watched the live action movie?
When we saw it in theaters, but
I
I
think that's the
have
last time
watched
I
videos
saw it.
about it.
But like the bending in that, it's super slow and weird. There's like
Mhm.
a famous I guess clip where someone does like a bunch of earth benders are doing a bunch of karate and then they like punch forward and they yell and like a very tiny rock floats past them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. What was anyone thinking? But at the opening scene where the earthbender is running away, I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Mhm.
Like it actually looks good. So
Yeah,
that kind of got me hooked.
there's maybe one fight that wasn't really that entertaining. It was kind of surprising. It
Which one
was
was it?
the Katara versus Paku fight when she's like he's sexist and she's trying to prove him wrong.
I don't know who Paku is.
Did I say the wrong name? Paku's the master in the Northern Water Tribe.
You probably said the right name, but I don't remember names.
Wait, let me check. Yeah, Paku. He's the old guy who ends up teaching Katara and Aang when they get to the Northern Water
Oh,
Tribe, and then ends up remarrying their grandma, grand.
nice.
But
I
yeah.
love an old marriage.
In the cartoon, it's like it's entertaining. They have a good fight, and then he chooses to teach both Katara and Aang.
Okay.
And in this one, they have a very incredibly underwhelming fight, and then that's it.
Wow.
Oh, you want to hear one of the dumbest things ever?
Is it the rock thing we just talked about in the
Okay, the
Shyamalan
second
movie?
dumbest thing ever.
Yes.
So you know how the cartoon is structured? How each season is a different book.
Oh yeah, I was actually gonna ask you about
So
this, but
book
go on.
one, water. Book two, yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what Aang doesn't do this entire season?
Waterbend?
Yep. He
Like
doesn't
not even
attempt to learn it. He doesn't do it
really.
once. Yeah. Paku didn't even teach him or Katara.
What?
Katara just gets good, which that's fine. I
So
get like I'm okay
she
with that. It'd be nice if he actually taught her because then we could see her like increasing power. And then
right.
she can teach Aang. But no, she just gets the scroll immediately, teaches herself, goes against the master, and then that's it. And then Aang just does nothing.
Have they built to a point? Maybe they're changing it so Katara teaches Aang.
But Katara does teach Aang. That's already a thing that happens.
Yeah, I know, but like exclusively. Like Aang does Paku or whatever say he won't teach Aang?
No, he just
Okay, never
never
mind.
he never tries.
Okay. That's weird.
So
Have they gotten to the point at the end of this season? Does it sync up with the end of the first season or end of book one water?
yes,
So the next season isn't going to be the water bending training season, is it? I bet
no,
it's going to
and
be a
I guess
time
they're gonna
jump.
be both. Yeah,
It's good. I bet they're going to start it with like, and Aang is great now. Look at him go.
they have to because they ruined it. They didn't let him. We don't get to see him train at all. So they're gonna have him staying at the Northern Water Tribe for like a really long time, and then master waterbending, quote unquote, and then go and find Toph and shit.
So in the Avatar universe, when there's the comet, the firebenders get really strong, right?
Hmm.
And when it's a full moon, the waterbenders get really strong.
Hmm.
Is there anything that makes airbenders and earthbenders really strong?
For airbending, I assume it's spiritual. So if you kind of like
Okay.
reach spiritual enlightenment, something like that. I assume you get stronger because like that's how Zahir is able to fly. Is he
Who?
like complete Zahir? He's in a Legend of Korra.
I didn't finish that.
Season three is really good, I will say.
I
The rest of
liked
it is
season one.
not
Season
good.
two was really bad.
Season two is terrible. Season
It's
three
like
is
them just
probably
hanging
the
out.
best.
Okay. Okay. Well, I do want to watch that. I didn't dislike it, I guess. I just didn't finish it.
Yeah,
But
I would just ignore like four is fine, but I would just watch three. But Zahir, he flies. Fun fact, and
I mean, I
it's
feel like they
because he
all
had to
should be
like
able to fly.
he had to like release his
All
earthly
of his
attachment or
gas.
something like that. Yes. But you can do stuff like that. And I don't think there's anything for earthbending that I'm aware of.
I'm trying to let's think. What about who can bend lava?
Earthbending.
That's cool. What about a volcano eruption? Does that make them stronger?
Maybe. I'll look that up, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing.
And why is it the comet and not the sun? I guess it would be a way so that they're not constantly super powerful.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Because if it was the sun, they just like every summer, I guess they'd be slightly more powerful. Maybe they are though. I don't know.
according to this random website, not random, it's the Avatar Wiki. An earthquake can increase their power slightly.
I was gonna ask about an earthquake,
A
but like that
large
doesn't seem
tectonic collision
that
makes
that
it. That's weird.
that doesn't make sense to me for some reason. Like I almost asked earthquake, but like that's not something that I guess it would make the earth shake so you don't have to break like a bit of rock off another rock.
I don't
They're
know.
loose. It's all
I
loose
think
rock.
I think they just made the two for fire and water, and then we're like, well, damn, now we have to have other things.
Which one do you think you'd be? I think you'd
Air.
be, yeah, I think you'd be Aang.
I would be Yang.
You'd be Aang. Which one would I be? I don't want to be, don't pick Sokka. I don't want to be Sokka.
I
He
wasn't gonna
sucks.
pick Sokka. Are we picking a specific character?
No, let's just do, sure, we can do both.
I don't know. I
I think
took a
I'd be a
quiz and I got air,
firebender.
I think.
I feel like I'd be a firebender.
Are you
What is the traits of them? They don't have to have a personality thing, do they?
no.
So it's not like the housing or sorting hat.
I
And
think it might. Well, I'm trying to remember. I haven't watched the cartoon in a while either. That's why I'm rewatching it. But you
I
have
don't think I
specific stuff
wouldn't be
about their
air.
culture. Like earth bending is like kind of stubborn, like hard shell kind of thing.
I'm pretty
Airbending is
stubborn.
spiritual and like chill, I guess.
Okay.
Waterbending is you're able to adapt to your environment well, I feel like.
Okay. I
And then
mean, water can adapt.
yeah. And then fire, I can't think of anything. Because Zuko's rage, but that's just Zuko. That's not like everyone
Right.
necessarily. They're very disciplined, I guess, but I don't know if that's necessarily a Fire Nation trait
Okay, well, I'm
specifically.
not disciplined, so I guess I can't be fire.
I don't know. Here, I'll look it up to get like a better actual thing.
I could be water then. I adapt pretty
The
well, like a salamander.
your salamander.
Put a salamander in a tub of water, it'll swim.
Okay. Or according to Mediacron, Earth is stubbornness, physicality, stability, gives substance. Water is emotion, defensiveness, adaptability, and holds things together. Fire is passion and aggression, heats or transforms, and wind air is benevolence, compassion, evasiveness.
So I guess I'd be water or fire. I don't think I'd be earth. I definitely wouldn't be air.
I'm not sure I'd be air either. I think I just want to be air.
No, I think you'd be air. What were the traits for air again?
Benevolence,
I'd say you're
compassion.
pretty benevolent,
What does benevolent mean?
like ultimately good.
That's highly debatable.
For you
Well-meaning
or
and kindly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say you're benevolent. You have compassion and evasiveness. I feel like you avoid conflict
that's fair.
pretty, yeah,
Having being someone who says that's fair all the time.
yeah. And like when that guy, our hater, tried to fight us, he found us in person and threatened us with a frying pan. You ran
Instead,
away,
I
and then I
seduced
got
him. Oh,
yeah. You see, you seduced him, then ran away while I got beat up by a frying pan.
you were supposed to run away with me. That was our.
I wasn't thinking. I thought he had an egg on there. I was hungry.
Oh.
Thought he was gonna
No,
flip an egg.
do you want to know something else I disliked?
Sure. I was gonna say
Uh,
we should do a full episode on this one day, but I was gonna say because I didn't know how long this conversation would go, we could talk about cartoons that we want to see adapted, which I
none.
know you're not gonna have any. But
Well, thing.
like Ben 10, I want to see that adapted.
Yeah, I'd be worried about how well they actually do the creatures, the aliens.
I think it depends on who's doing it, but I think it would work.
I think that one could work too. I mean, they made a couple live actions, but that was Cartoon Network, so you can't really trust them.
Yeah, I mean, I remember them looking fine, the
Yeah,
CGI in that, but I would want to see because Ben 10, I think it lends itself very well to it's going to be a brand that comes back and is a giant franchise for like no reason. It's going to be like the Transformers of our generation.
it should be. It's awesome. It's a great story.
But like, I feel like because Transformers was a lot of kids' like favorite thing, like first passion for a
Mhm.
property. And like the toys were huge. In Ben 10, like it's very similar. Like a lot of kids, like that was kind of the first thing that they were really into, and the toys where they sold well. So they bring that back. If it'll do well in cinema, and I think it'll sell like billions of dollars worth of merchandise. So I expect them to do that at some point.
Just start investing in Ben 10, and you're good.
Me?
Yeah, just
Okay, I'll
start,
see if
start
they're.
investing in it.
But yeah, like because like that could work. It's like it fits in with the superhero genre that is dying out. But like the idea of a teen min of a 10-year-old Ben with a watch that makes him into a bunch of aliens like that would lend well to a live action treatment, I feel.
Yeah.
The problem would be, like you said, making the aliens look good.
Mhm.
But I think they could do it.
If they can, then I agree because that is a very simple action thing that they could easily make into a movie
They could get
or a
different
series.
actors for each alien. That'd be fun, right?
He
It'd be
turns
very
into
expensive. The Rock.
that's it. They don't even turn into aliens. He just turns
No,
into
it's
different
just
celebrities.
it's The Rock, it's Kevin Hart, it's Jack Black, it's
He
Karen
needs to go
Gillan, it's the
fast. He turns
entire
into like
Joe.
Usain Bolt.
Oh yes, but like
That
yeah,
was just pretty fast for a human.
they could get people to I don't know. He turns into four arms and then it's the voice of Reacher from Jack Reacher or Jack Reacher from
Uh,
Reacher. Do you know that guy was almost Thor?
that would have
Like
worked well.
almost.
I mean, I
Yeah,
like Chris
he
Hemsworth, but
auditioned for Thor and he said he didn't take it seriously because he assumed they were only going to cast him because he looks like the character.
Hmm.
So he just, goofed around the whole time.
Yeah.
He would have been good, but I don't think he would have been as good as Hemsworth.
No, Hemsworth is really good.
And he's not, I don't know how he would do a British accent. I can't picture Jack Reacher being British, but what?
Why are you bringing in British?
Because Hemsworth or Thor is British. What?
How is Thor British?
He's a British accent, doesn't
Does
he?
he?
Yes.
He's just Thor.
Okay, he doesn't have he's not from Britain, but doesn't he have a British accent? Don't
I mean, isn't
not all
Hemsworth
the
Australian?
Asgardians. Yeah, but he does a British accent,
I
doesn't
don't know,
he?
man. I don't know.
Because Hiddleston does,
Maybe I've
right?
never thought about that.
Wait, no, I'm doubting it.
I think you're
Hiddleston does
just
a British
picturing
accent.
Hiddleston talking normally.
Yeah, but I thought the certain Asgardians were British. Okay,
I
I
don't
guess
know. Maybe you're
maybe
right,
he's
and I've
not
just never
British.
picked up on that.
No, I'm doubting it. Maybe he just speaks in like a because he speaks like
Yeah, he does.
Shakespeareanly.
He does speak Shakespeareanly. I don't know if that means it's a British accent or not.
He's a friend from work. That's not how he said it. Fuck, is he British?
No,
No, he's obviously not British, but does he use a British accent?
I
Because
don't think
he
so.
doesn't use Australian. We'd
No,
notice.
no, he
He
doesn't.
doesn't
I
use
think it's just.
American.
I agree. It's like a weird dramatic one, but I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a British specifically.
Well, shit, that hater is gonna have so much cannon fodder for us, for me.
Well, regardless, one of us, because one of us is right, one of us is wrong.
Okay, yeah, but I can't picture Alan Richardson doing that Shakespearean accent.
Okay, I was so confused for a second.
Tessa Thompson's British. Anthony Hopkins isn't, is he?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he's British.
Kate
I don't know.
Blanchett isn't.
Oh yeah, they don't have. I don't think they have to be British.
They just speak.
Yeah, I guess they
Yeah, they
do.
don't have to be British.
They don't have to be anything. They could be Alan Richardson. Did you know Stan Lee wanted to be Odin originally?
I wonder how that would have worked out.
I think he would have been great. Stan
Yeah,
Lee's really good at being enthusiastic and yelling, but I think it'd be a very funny look.
yeah.
He'd probably
I
keep like
can't
the
see him
glasses
being
on
angry.
and
He
yeah,
would.
me neither. He would keep the glasses on, right? Just be sitting
Yeah.
there.
Oh, that'd
Okay,
be
what
so
other
funny.
animated shows? Let's do ones from our childhood that you want to see come back. What about Foster's Home for Imaginary Parents, Friends?
You were
What
so
was it?
close. Missed
I
that
know.
one.
I don't know how I messed that up.
I don't know.
I don't
Actually,
think they should
I
do that
don't. I
one.
haven't rewatched that one, so I can't
About
speak.
Bionicle. Remember Bionicle?
They have a cartoon.
Yeah, no, they had a bunch of movies though. You know what's crazy about Bionicle? Remember when Netflix used to be a DVD thing? It still is,
Hmm.
but like exclusively you could get a DVD. There is one Bionicle movie that I wanted to watch, so I got into the wait list,
Hmm.
and it was like 150 people ahead of me, and I never got to
Wow.
watch it.
I'm so sorry for
It
your
was called like
loss.
Bionicle the Gold Boy or something. It was like about gold Bionicles. But
Well, he was like the big one.
no other movies had like that long of a wait list. So I never got to see that Bionicle movie.
I looked it up. Is it Bionicle Mask of Light?
Yes.
Bionicle Mask. But let's see if it's on anything.
Yeah, let's see if I can
No,
rent
not
this.
cast. It doesn't even give me the option to see watch movie.
Maybe they
I
only had
don't. I think
one
it's
copy of
lost.
it. Does it look good? Does it look like it would have changed my life? Do you think if I had watched that movie, I'd be like a famous
Oh, it's
celebrity
on
by
YouTube.
now?
You can just watch it on YouTube.
Okay, that's what we'll be doing later today. It's got
I
a
don't blame you.
5.5 out of 10. That's not bad.
No, it isn't. What is it? The Dune Part 2 still the highest or did it drop down?
Of all time.
Yeah, I think it dropped down.
That movie is incredible. Blew my mind.
I'll
June
watch it
Part
eventually.
2.
I need to
9.0.
read the first one. I need to not read the first. I need to watch the first one. I would like to read the book eventually, but I don't think I'll read all six. That's too many.
I don't know. I wasn't gonna read the books. Like when I was watching Doom Part 2, because we're real movie reviewers, obviously, I got to
Oh
see it
yeah.
early screening in IMAX. And as I was watching, I thought to myself, like, I love this. I love this world. I love these characters. I should read the books. But by the end, I was so invested in the story that I was like, I'm not going to read the books because I don't want to know what happens until, like, I'll read it after the trilogy's done or however many they end up making. I think it's just going to be 3.
Mhm.
But then I saw a goddamn spoiler on TikTok and I'm pissed, I'm furious.
That's how I feel for Invincible.
Have you seen spoilers?
I've seen some mentions in comics. Nothing that really ruins it for me, but that's
Okay,
why
I
I'm
was gonna
not
say, what have
reading
you
the
seen?
comics. Oh yeah, you read the comics. You already know.
Yeah. What have you
I
seen
just
in the
know some of the characters. The weird female girl who pretty much does stuff to Mark that's
Oh
wrong.
yeah, she doesn't pretty much it's not she just did it.
Yeah,
It
which is
was
insanely effed up. What's his name?
yeah.
Thrag or Throg or something.
Oh, Thrag, I think.
Thrag. Yeah, it's not.
Throg.
It's
It's one
no
of those
big
two.
story like spoiler, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was in the same boat as you. I was hesitating to read the comics because I was so invested in the show. But then I just read it and it's amazing. And even watching season 2, it didn't I wasn't upset or like I didn't enjoy it less, even though I'm enjoying it less because it's not coming out at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up when it because they said it was coming out March 14th. So next week
Oh, sick.
or 2 weeks, I guess.
Great comic series though. Have you heard about anything that happens in this season like that's upcoming in Invincible season 2?
Oh no.
Okay, good. Because there's something that I think is incredible that they
Invincible turns into a
Batman.
fish. Batman, Spider-Man comes in.
That's not going to happen apparently.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. So I don't know who announced it. I think either Amazon or Sony or someone was like, "Just don't bet on it." Which, yeah, I wasn't going to. I don't even
Yeah,
know if you
it'd be kind
can
of
bet money
bizarre
on
to
that.
do that. You
Yeah,
can bet money on anything nowadays.
I
Like
know it's crazy.
gambling culture, especially with like sports, is insane.
Yeah, we have a friend, by which I mean I have a friend
How
who
dare you?
has a
I have
problem
I have friends.
with gambling. Do you have any other notes for Avatar? No, I
I
don't.
have they did my boy Appa wrong.
How so?
Like, do you remember how often Appa saves their ass?
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. He's barely in it.
And he flew into the fucking storm. I mean, Aang was controlling him, but don't be that
Yeah,
stupid,
no.
Appa.
Appa did nothing. Momo has a weird little moment where he sacrifices himself and then
What?
he's fine at the end.
Oh,
But he like saves someone by jumping onto them and pushing them out, but then gets hit, you know?
yeah.
So that happens. And then they need to show him getting healed in the spirit pond.
Okay.
It was weird. I don't know why they did it, but I guess a little emotional moment with Momo.
Little Momo. We should have named
Yeah,
Meek Momo
that would be sick.
and Winston Appa.
Next time.
Yeah.
Not next time. And then Azula is not Azula. They did her so dirty. And then,
How is
again,
she different?
this isn't a diss on the actress. I don't care about the actress, but this is this towards her. She's just not Azula.
Like characterization wise?
Yeah,
Okay.
like Azula is this extremely disciplined, badass character who will kick anyone's ass besides
Yeah.
his like Ozai. Like anyone
Right.
else, she's smarter than, she's more capable, and she will do settle for nothing less than perfect, essentially.
Yeah, and she's a psychopath.
Yeah, and she's a psychopath who likes seeing people get hurt.
Yeah.
And there's essentially none of those traits. Like we know that Azula is insecure at the end of the show, and she
Right.
starts freaking out because of how like May and tightly betray her. But that's kind of it. That's it. That's what really pushes her over the edge, and we get to see that kind of side of her. They're already showing that side of her, which will just ruin again her character development. And they did that with Zuko, they did that with Aang, they did that with Sokka. They're just ruining everyone's character development.
I
Katara's
mean,
barely Katara.
they might be trying to do different character development for them. Because again, I don't know what they're
I don't
intending to
like that.
do. There's a chance they're just fucking it up, which it's a pretty good chance. But there's also a chance that I don't know. They're like, well, this is how, the character beats and the story beats of the show. We're gonna follow the story beats, sort of. We're gonna
Mhm.
go from A to B eventually. But for the character moments, like we'll have them develop differently, I guess, just to set it apart,
Yeah.
just to because again, if it's the exact same, it begs the question as to why even adapt it into live action. So maybe I doubt it, but maybe they're like, okay, we'll establish the characters early on, kind of
Mhm.
how as they ended up in the cartoon, and then build them to a different place.
Maybe. And if they pull it off well, then obviously that'll be fine. But it is just very interesting that they took this path because that's again like an unnecessary change in my opinion. Not
Yeah.
that, but like you said, like they had to change some stuff, and if they like fine,
Well, I mean, they could have still had the characters go from one, like the characters could still grow in the same way or to the same place, but in a different way.
yeah,
Like the way in which Azula or any of the characters, the way in which Zuko turns around to being a better dude, do that differently. Like the way he comes to that realization and
yeah,
growth
still give
happens
him.
differently. It unfolds differently than it did in the cartoon. But I don't know. I'll watch it. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be super cool. Once I finish
It's just
Resident
so.
Alien,
I need to watch that.
did you look into it at all?
I've seen it on Netflix. I haven't.
It is so funny. Do you know what it's about?
I going off of the name, I assume it's an alien. I feel like it's solar opposites. Is an alien just chilling in like a house?
That's kind of what I thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
But it's an alien that crashed to Earth and then just assumes the role of a dude he killed. And that guy happens to be a doctor. So he becomes the town doctor and it's just an alien who doesn't understand humans. Just, which the first several episodes, I was laughing very consistently because,
Okay.
like, just the premise of it's Alan Tudyk, who's a very comedic, funny guy,
Mhm.
but just some of the things, because it's just very much making fun of, like, what an alien would think if they interacted with human, like all of our weird traits, the alien just points out to the humans
Hmm.
And like when he's being a doctor, he doesn't know what the accepted terminology is. So at one point, a woman has breast cancer and he's like, and they tell him to be like very gentle about it because you know it's a big deal. And then he's
Yeah.
like, don't worry, like, good job with your self-test. Like you found a lump. Don't worry, a lot of lumps that we find are non-cancerous, they're benign, but again, great job, keeping up with the self-monitoring. Now let me see that tit. And then everyone gets really upset with him, and then you hear there's a lot of voiceover where it's just him being like, I guess that isn't the way people refer to a breast. Things like that. And that happens a
Technically it
lot.
is.
Yeah, and that happens a lot in the first season. And I was worried it was gonna kind of, run dry. What's the word I'm looking for?
Get
I don't
old.
know. Get old. Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah.
was worried it would get old, and it doesn't. They definitely lean away from that because he does make friends and stuff. And what kind of takes hold later on the first season and the second season is less the absurdity of this alien going around like trying to blend in and more just like the character dynamics. Like we start to get invested in the like interpersonal relationships between him and the humans, plus like the humans and the other humans. Like we start to actually care about the people.
Okay.
So I think it did a good job in not just getting old, even though it was very funny to begin with.
Hey,
I w
maybe I'll watch that next. I'm rewatching the cartoon right now, and then I'll see. So I finished The Bear. The Bear was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the best thing that's ever happened?
Ever happened?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I think McDonald's bringing back the snack wraps pretty high up there.
When is that happening?
Next year.
2025? Why did they
Yeah.
announce it so far in advance?
Yeah, I'm confused by that too because it's literally a wrap. That is not like a really complicated thing you need to prepare so long for.
Yeah, and a lot of places now, since that announcement, are doing their own snack wrap.
Yeah,
Like,
I got one at Jack in the Box. It was pretty good.
have you had the Carl's Jr. one?
No, I've never eaten at Carl's Jr. I
That's
think
the
it's a
only
myth.
time I've been, but it's the best snack wrap clone on the market right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
So you're telling me I should eat at Carl's Jr.?
Yeah, do you have one nearby?
Probably. I see him all the time, but I've never seen anyone
Maybe I'll go to
go
Carl's
there, and I've
Jr.
never
after
seen
this.
anyone that I know eat there until now. You're the first person, so congratulations.
Thank you. I take this honor in stride. That's actually why I couldn't watch Avatar. I spent the week trying to find a Carl's Jr.
No, I'll try it because I've had Burger King's. Burger King's is good, but they're really small. Jack in the Boxes was solid.
Okay.
I think that's it. Red Robin's wrap is amazing, but it's not a snack wrap.
No,
It doesn't taste the same.
nothing at Red Robin is amazing.
You've had their fries.
Once they got rid of the balloon room and the giant Red Robin walking around,
It's ruined.
that's when it got bad. I'll say it if no one else will.
I don't disagree with you. I would say they changed the menu, I think, like slightly, and I do
Yeah.
think it was in an effort to make it healthier. And
I mean, that's
that
good.
ruined. I think that ruined the mac and cheese.
But
It's
is the
not
mac
good,
and
but
cheese not good anymore?
not the past two times I've had it, it was shit. And that's
Like
so
actually
disappointing.
bad or just not as good?
It was close to being actually bad,
Oh wow,
which
that's
is
not
so
good.
sad because like obviously that was my go-to.
Maybe you just
So
grew up.
I
Maybe you
don't
like
think so. It
went over
visibly
a
it
hump.
looks different too. That's the thing.
Oh, every time mac and cheese looks different than what I'm expecting, I can't eat it.
It again turns me off immediately because it's not like it used to be like smothered in cheese essentially. Like it was
Yeah,
very cheesy and I loved it. And now you can like see the noodle like you can see how white it is and then there's like a little bit of cheese on it. And then if you
weird.
like stir it a little bit, but that's how it comes out and it just looks so much different.
Have you tried multiple bread robins? Maybe it's just that one, whichever one you're going to.
I've tried the one I've gone to, and I tried it when I was back home over the summer,
Okay.
and that was still the same. So I've just defaulted to always getting the wrap, which I love the wrap, so it's fine, but still disappointing.
Okay. Well, how do we get here? Oh yeah, snack wraps. Best thing in the world. The
Yeah,
bear.
I'm so excited. But it was good. It ended very well, very frustrating. I
Are
don't
you
know if you've
gonna
seen it, but
watch season 3 week to week?
probably.
Comes out soon, I think.
Yeah, in June, I think.
Yeah. What else should I do a live action Samurai Jack?
No,
No, probably not, right?
it's too artistic.
Yeah. And I don't even know. They'd either have to compress the whole series into one movie or do multiple movies.
I mean, make it a series.
Oh yeah, we could. I don't, if they're gonna adapt a
Just
cartoon,
make season 5.
yeah. I feel like if they're gonna
Yeah.
adapt a cartoon, they should do a movie. I don't know why I feel that way, but
That's
like
kind of
that,
the issue though, because then they have to condense stuff even more, and it kind of takes away
right.
from.
But then if it's the season, like a series, it's just doing the same thing again. So maybe there's just no good way to do it.
No, there isn't. That's why you shouldn't do it.
Because with Ben 10, I'd want to see it in movie form. I don't know what, like, and don't just find out the essential beats of the plot and then make a new story with the characters.
I think that makes sense because you can just take the Ben 10 character and put him into a different story, and that would work
Yeah.
fine. It
It's like
doesn't
how
need to
they
be
adapt a
the
superhero
story.
movie or like the
Yeah,
Transformers movies aren't, I mean, they might be, I don't know, I haven't seen the cartoon, but they're just like they're telling a new story and then periodically there are references to like, oh, this is like just like that episode or just like that comic All Hail Megatron. Like do it like a superhero movie does where it's like, okay, this is Batman or that's not a good example. This is Captain America's Civil War. So
yeah,
we you take the characters in the general storyline and then you tell a different story. And the storyline of Ben 10 is not that complex. From memory, it's a kid who gets a wristwatch and then he fights an alien with aliens.
yeah. They do some good world building though. I like
No, I
that.
know, but you don't have to. You can do your own world building
Yeah,
and like when if you I don't know do that movie franchise, which I don't know if they should at this point. I don't know. I'm changing my mind left and right. But like when you what was that alien called? Alien X, where you have to talk to two
and X.
heads.
Yeah,
Like imagine we see the Ben 10 movie and like the second or third one, he unlocks Alien X, and then it cuts to like a scene in like a void or like like in space, and he's talking to two alien heads. People will be like, "Oh my God, it's a callback, it's a reference. We love this." But if you just do the whole series again, like I don't know, in terms of adaptations, I feel like it wouldn't work with Avatar, but
no, you'd have
just
to do another standalone thing, and like they're
yeah,
doing that with an animated movie next year.
with Avatar,
Yeah,
does it go straight to Netflix?
no, I don't think
Oh,
so.
really? What's it
They're
called?
making I don't know what it's called, but it's them. It's like the gang as adults, so that'd be
Oh,
cool. And then they're making a new series.
what's the new series about?
The next, I think it's the next Avatar because it's
So
an
after
earthbending.
Korra?
Yeah, it's earthbending, so that's the next natural one. But maybe they'll skip a bit. I doubt it.
Okay. Who's better, Korra or Aang at being an avatar?
Who's literally better
Yeah, like
or who's more powerful?
who's more powerful? Isn't
I
Korra
think I
like
think Korra technically, but I think Aang is a better character.
yeah. Is Aang like the best avatar because of what he accomplished? Or is he just like the same as the rest because they all kind of do that?
Yeah, I think a big thing is avatars kind of spend their life fixing the problems from the past avatar, and then in
Oh.
doing so causes new ones, and that I think is just how it goes. So like Aang fixed Roku's problem,
What did
and
Roku do
then
though? I don't
he
remember.
he is kind of a big reason that the war happened because he let it happen.
He let it happen?
Yeah, he could have stopped it because he knew it was happening. He talked to the Fire Lord to try to stop it,
Oh.
and then the Fire Lord, instead of saving Oroku, let him die so that he could start the war.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's just stuff like that. So I don't know if you could say he's better. I think because I think what he does is more impressive than what Korra does.
What does
But
Korra
Korra,
even do?
not a whole lot. Season two is kind of the big one where she fights Rava or whatever. I think it's
Who's
Rava,
Rava?
the big. Did you finish season two?
No, I stopped.
Okay. There's a bunch of shit that happens at the end of that, which kind of shows how powerful Korra is. But one thing she does is she, spoilers, loses her connection to the past lives. So they cut that off.
Oh, that's fine.
So I would say what makes sense to me is Korra should be the most powerful up until that moment because
Oh,
she has Aang as a
right.
past life, and then she'd be more powerful, and then the next person would be more powerful, and that's just kind of how it
So
goes.
it's just constantly okay. What did
Yeah.
Aang do? What did he fuck up that
What
Korra's
did he do?
fixing?
I know he kind of wasn't the greatest dad. That's all I remember. But
Okay.
I'm trying to think what he directly screwed up. Because I do think there's something. But the initial big bad for Korra was the difference between benders and non-benders, and I don't think Aang directly caused that.
What's the conflict of Korra in the first season? Doesn't she just join a sports team?
It's what's his name? Amon, with the bloodbending guy.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. I just remember her playing sports.
She does. I do like
And
that. I think
she
that's really
was,
cool.
I think it's a really good idea, but it's just not interesting to see more than once.
Yeah.
Like, of course, they, like, in a world where that could happen, they would become celebrity athletes. You would do, like, it would become like a competitive, fighting sport.
Oh, for sure.
But that happened, like, a bunch of times in the first season. And I was like, this is cool in premise, but I don't know. I don't like watching sports. Believe it or not, everybody out there, I think it's boring. So
I
like
agree.
when I'm watching it in Korra, I'm like, oh, this is not very compelling. I'd rather see her do it once, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is how the world would, develop, but then never have to watch it again. But
Yeah. No, season one, that stuff.
so
I
that
kind of
wasn't the
agree with you. They can
conflict.
overdo it. That wasn't the conflict. That was just something she was doing.
Because
And
my
then
brain just
Amon was the
remembered,
conflict.
my brain for some reason assumed that the conflict was like she wanted to win the championship. So she
Well,
just
I mean, that's a part of it.
okay. So that I didn't imagine that part
Yeah.
entirely. I just
Um,
forgot about this bloodbender.
no, that
Which
Amon's the big bad.
which bender type is the most powerful? 'Cause it would be water because of the blood bending, right?
I think it depends. I think it's obviously more about the bender themselves. I don't think there's one type that's over like more powerful overall.
Okay.
Because like with airbending, do see this with one bender, and
Aang?
that's not Aang, it's
Oh,
Zahir,
okay.
and he essentially suffocates a person by like taking all the air out from
Oh,
around their head.
you could do that too. I guess I didn't think about
Yeah,
that.
so that's really powerful. Like lightning bending is terrifying.
Why
Lava
can
bending
they
is
do that?
terrifying. Why can they do
Lightning,
that?
lightning isn't fire, is it?
Electricity. I don't know. Electricity is close to fire, I guess.
I feel like it's closer to like its own thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
They had to
I
give
think
it to
it makes the
someone.
most sense to be with fire, but I kind of agree that it's
Do you
not like
think
directly related.
lava is more closely related to fire, right, than electricity? Or am
Yeah,
I
I
just
didn't. I'm a little
really off?
confused by that. I think it's like there's a big
Lava, I guess,
diagram you
is
can
just
look at, and
molten
lava's like in
rock.
between.
They
Yeah,
should be able to do both, or both benders should be able to do lava, I feel. Well,
I don't know.
maybe not, because it's just because lava is just a molten rock. And so I guess it's not that if a firebender could bend that, then they could just bend anything that's pretty hot. So like
Yeah.
a stovetop they could bend.
No, I think that's why. And you're right, because they're
Are
controlling
you
the rock, whether or not it's actually on fire or not.
Yeah, are you if you're a earthbender, can you still be hurt by if you're in lava, or can you survive that?
Yeah, I'm sure you die if you're in lava.
Well, because you can get hit by you can punch a rock and be fine if you're an earthbender, or do they just like do the thing where like you punch a bunch of rocks and your hands just harden?
I think they have like they've adapted to have a tougher exterior and like that
Okay.
kind of stuff, but I don't think that means they can't get hurt from lava. Like
So can what?
firebenders can get hurt by fire.
Oh yeah, what's his face? Forgot about him. The main one, Zuko.
Zuko?
Okay. Okay, so firebender can do blood bending, and then
Water.
air. What did I say? Fire.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Just trying to can so
Fire is
waterbenders.
lightning.
Yeah,
Uh
waterbenders can do salt water or fresh water, right?
I
I'm
assume
trying to think
so.
of I'm trying to
They're
think of who has the most resources.
they're blood bending and then they're healing, I believe. There's their two things. Um
Okay.
Earthbenders, you have lava, metal, and seismic sense. If that counts as, I think that's exclusively an earthbending thing.
What does that mean?
It's how Toph sees.
They can all do that? I thought she just taught herself.
Well, I think they like because
They
Aang learns
could
how to do it,
oh,
so I think they all can do it. But Toph is like the best at it, and hence
right.
why I think she's probably the best Earthbender. Period.
It's like how in Daredevil everyone can technically learn how to see like Daredevil,
Yeah,
but
like I
he's the
think it's something
best
like
at it.
that.
Interesting.
I think airbending has the least. It might just be flying, but airbending is also absolutely cracked. So
I mean, yeah, you can do that thing where you suffocate someone.
yeah, and you have you. That's the one. Well, I guess fire too, but airbending is the one you have always, no matter what.
What do you mean?
Like earthbending, if you're in the sky, you're carrying Earth.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Waterbending, you can carry water, you can pull it out of the air if you're good enough. You can do that kind of stuff, but it's possible to have no water around it. It's difficult. Fire,
Yeah.
you can create from nothing as well. So that one, those two are the ones you can do that.
Interesting. So okay, so fire you don't if you're like in water, can you create fire?
Maybe because Zuko does that, doesn't he? Or he might just heat up his hands. But he when he's underwater, like trapped under ice, he melts the ice.
I guess he could probably create the fire, it would just melt, or it would just get put out really quickly. So he could heat something up, like a stove.
Do you think this is yeah, I was gonna say, is this dark? Can you like boil stuff that's in water?
I bet you could. I feel like if you had, I mean, the Avatar obviously is very powerful, but if you just had
Well, yeah,
a
avatars.
bender of each, you could do a lot of fucked up shit. Like
That's season 3 of
of
Legend of
Korra,
Korra. Yeah, you
they've
should
there's
watch
a
it.
gang of them.
Hmm.
Is it
That's
the
they're the
sports ball
villains.
team?
It's the sports ball team.
Is it
It's not the
really?
sports ball team.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's the enemies, and they're the most entertaining enemies that you come from Korra. Like you actually are invested in them. They're interesting characters.
I'm
They handle
surprised
them
that
well.
didn't happen or doesn't happen constantly because you'd have so many like kinds of thing like combinations. That's what I'm looking for. You'd have so many combinations if you just had one of each element.
Yeah, I mean that's what Aang does too.
Yeah, just because he does,
He-
doesn't he?
yeah,
I thought he just meant because he's the Avatar.
no, the
Yeah,
gang.
the gang, but with two A's. The
Yeah.
Aang gang. Nice.
Yeah, that's their name.
Is it really?
Hmm.
What is Korra's gang called? Kang?
No, I actually they have one. I forget what it's called,
It's
and I
probably
don't
just
care
called like Korra
much.
and her friends. I met
Maybe it
someone
is.
recently who said that Korra's better than Atla.
Like the show's better.
Yeah,
Oh, their team Avatar.
that's stupid.
It is. Korra is not close to as good, but it's not bad. I'm
Team
not gonna.
Avatar.
It's
Why
it's better than the live action Atla. I'd say that. But
the movie and the Netflix show?
yeah, well, of course the movie. That's
Should we watch that again and do a commentary on it?
I don't
When
know
you're,
if we can say anything different. We just shit on it.
I mean, you would just shit on it. I would just try to find good stuff. I'd probably just shit on the director. I don't think it's his fault. I don't
I think it
think,
is. I think it's
I mean,
partially
I
his fault.
think it's definitely partially his fault, but I don't think it's in, like, I don't blame him fully for that.
He didn't even have them say the right name for
Yeah,
Aang.
how did they call it like Avatar?
Yeah, I don't know what's
How did
wrong
they
with that.
mess that up?
But
I
no,
remember being
Korra's
so confused after
fine.
that.
I was literally like very young,
Yeah,
so
you were
I
like
don't think it really
two and a half.
impacted me.
I mean, I remember, and then this is credit to the appeal of doing a live action thing. When we got home from seeing that movie, we went out to our front yard and we grabbed some PVC pipes and pretended to be Aang's. Maybe it was just me. Maybe you didn't join me. But I just spun a PVC pipe around pretending I was Aang from that movie,
That movie.
which which I didn't do in after I watched the cartoon. So for
That's interesting.
kids, seeing a live action version, it's a more real thing that you could, or it's easier to grasp onto as be like, oh, I could be this. I mean, obviously, any kids out there, you
Mhm.
can't be Aang. You just can't. I'm sorry, but yeah, and I didn't do that after I watched the episode and a half of Avatar, the live action Netflix show. You know what
You should
happened?
rewatch the cartoon. What?
I was sitting down. I was gonna watch it all night, then get up super early and watch it because all week I woke up at like 3 a.m. for no reason. Just did.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's. I just got up, got my rain. I've tried the sour gummy worm one. It's amazing.
Oh, what do you? It's pretty good. Yeah.
I think it's my favorite flavor. But I just drink one of those and then edit a video. But I watched the first episode. I was like three-quarters of the way through the second episode. I got hungry, so I went upstairs to make a snack. Then I came
Nice.
back down, and it had taken me back to like the screen on Netflix where it's like start the episode. So I click it and it put me at the beginning, and I was like, I don't want to fast forward through this. So I just didn't.
You should just skip the episode.
I should have. I mean, I was pretty close to finishing it. What happens at the end of the Kyoshi one? Because I got to the point where Zuko and Iroh show up and they're like slightly behind the other fire guys.
Oh, Kyoshi takes over Aang's body and then does a bunch of cool shit, and then they
Oh, the
leave.
Avatar Kyoshi?
Yeah.
Okay. That
So
kind
it's
of
pretty
sounds
cool.
fun.
They made it where to just talk to the past avatars, you have to be at their shrine, which is
Is that
very
not how it
interesting.
always is?
No, he could just do it whenever.
That's gonna very limit. That's gonna limit his abilities.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're gonna go through it in the future. Because like in they at first he had to go to the shrine because he didn't know how to talk to him, so he sent like something
Right.
to tell him, "Oh, come here."
Yeah.
And then after that, he was like, "Oh, we're always with you," and then he was able to do it whenever. So maybe they'll just throw that in, like retcon it.
I would just destroy the shrine then if I was Zuko. Or if I was
I don't think
Azula,
Zuko knows that though.
I guess. Yeah, okay, that's another question I had. So in the first episode, when Aang gets out of the ice initially, and or Katara and Sokka find Aang,
Hmm.
Zuko's on a boat, and then he's a bunch of Avatar statues, and all their eyes light up blue to
Yeah.
indicate that there's the Avatar. And then he looks out the window, and there's a giant blue beam. Is that in the cartoon? That like statue, like tiny little dolls of an Avatar, their eyes will light up?
Zuko having some, no, but
Okay.
when that happens, actually, I think it's when he's at the Southern Air Temple. He does like he goes into the Avatar state and it makes all the Avatar statues lights like eyes go blue. So that part's like something that actually happens, but I don't think Zuko has any of the tiny statues.
In the okay, because like when he
Yeah.
had that, I was like, just fucking sail around the world, and once you see that light up, then you know he's around.
Well, it's not when he's nearby.
Is it just when he does the Avatar state?
Yeah, I think that was what caused it.
Okay, do we get in this season? Do we get to the point where Zuko puts on a mask and runs around?
Blue Spirit, yeah.
I like that. Why is he
That was
doing that? I don't
that was a
remember.
solid episode because Admiral or Commander, I forget what his rank ends up as, but Zhao kidnaps Aang. But if he returns with the Avatar, then Zuko doesn't get to do that.
Oh,
So he breaks him out of prison so that he can be the one to take him back.
what season do we get Zuko having hair, like good hair?
He starts growing it in season 2. By the end of it, he has his
Okay,
hair, and then season 3, he has his hair.
okay, because even when I was a kid, that weird like bald head but with a top knot,
It's bad.
I always
It's
hated
very
it.
bad.
I was like, that is such a silly look.
Yeah, he should have it next. I almost said semester, next season.
Next semester. Okay, I'll just wait until next season and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, you didn't really miss too much. It ends the same way as season one with some weird differences.
I mean, that is strange that they didn't have him get trained in water at all. But
Nope,
at any point in the season, did they call it book one water?
I don't think so. But that
It's
doesn't mean anything. Like that's
right.
his purpose is to learn the
No,
elements.
I
He
know,
made
but
no
I was just
effort to learn the
curious.
element.
I was just curious if they claimed it to be that and then they didn't fulfill
No,
it.
I
Because
could
like
be wrong,
the
but
first
I don't think they do.
episode is called Aang. The second episode is called Kyoshi.
Yeah, they
But
just
I don't
go with
remember
that.
them. Yeah, I don't remember them ever saying book one water. I was watching Dune Part Two.
Hmm.
This is actually not the order of how it happened, but after I watched Dune Part Two, I was really into it. Then I started the episode and a half I watched of this show, and I was like, I want the director of Dune Part Two to have done this because he makes the worlds look really fucking amazing. Like they look
Yeah.
real, they use real places, and the characters are also done well in Dune Part Two. I am unfamiliar with, I don't know if I should said this, but I'm unfamiliar with the Dune canon. I haven't read the books or
Hmm.
anything, but I was really impressed with the world building and the movie itself of Dune Part 2. And after I watched Avatar, I was like, unfairly comparing the two.
It's
But
hard.
I was like, they should have, we're not gonna get it ever. Maybe in like 30 years, but because they just did this live action remake, we're not gonna get another one for a while because
Hmm.
they just tell the same story again. So it'd have to be a long time. But like this director, I don't know, just make him because he's a unique. His name is Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. I don't know. Everyone says it differently, including me. But I don't know. He's kind of like a Christopher Nolan type, but he like makes adaptations of franchises
We
or
did
like,
Blade Runner 2049, right?
yeah, like
Yeah.
he did Prisoners. Remember you watched that
I
recently?
did watch Prisoners. That was
Great
very good.
movie. Have you seen Arrival?
No, but I've heard it's
Oh,
good.
it's really good. But like, I don't know. When I was watching Dune Part 2, I was thinking to myself, like, this is what Scorsese was talking about. This, in terms of content, it's not too dissimilar from something like the MCU. By content, I mean like the like raw material they're pulling from,
Hmm.
like an established franchise with characters that are established. I obviously Dune is more, I don't know, renowned and artful sci-fi compared to comic books,
Yeah.
but it really stuck out to me like the actual film production surrounding Dune Part 2 was just so different from what we get in Marvel movies. Like the
Hmm.
material isn't too dissimilar, but the actual like filmmaking, how it's shot, how it looks, how it's acted, it feels intentional. Whereas in the MCU, like it does just feel like a machine that's pumping out new things, but that aren't too fresh and new.
Yeah.
And I was like, after he does Dune Part 3, you should just adapt Avatar and do a trilogy of them and do water, fire. What's the water, earth, fire?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he won't,
No,
unfortunately.
I'm excited for all the new content from the creators themselves.
Yeah, it's been a while. Did you ever watch Voltron, Legendary
No, did they make
Defender?
that?
Yeah, I think I maybe I didn't text you about it. I watched
Oh, I
part of
think
it.
you did. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they made it. It's very similar. You can tell it's by the same people. I didn't get into it very far or at
Okay.
all, but like it's good from what I saw.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out because I also want to read the comics. I've read one of them, but it wasn't like it was the like behind the scenes stories of stuff that happened while they were on their adventure. So it wasn't like new content after everything that happened in the show. It was stuff like that happened coincided, that word. Like there's a
Currently?
fight. Yes, concurrently. Thank you.
Okay.
Like there's a fight between Boomy and Toph to see who is the better Earthbender that ended in a draw, but
Really?
it's Toph.
Yeah, Toph's crazy.
Yeah, no, she's insane.
Yeah.
She's probably the best pure bender that we see,
What about
period.
Ty Lee? Is that her name? Is she
She's
even a
not even a
bender?
bender.
I don't know. I'm
She's
terrible
probably
at
the best.
Avatar.
In my opinion, she's the best at hand-to-hand combat,
Did
either
she beat
her or
Suki?
Suki. It's one of those two, but I think she does.
I feel like Ty Lee's more acrobatic. She's always doing flips
Yeah.
and shit. She's like a Nightwing type, whereas Suki is like Elektra. Elektra would kill Nightwing. Elektra's
Are you
really
sure
good.
about that?
No, actually, I don't think it wouldn't be easy, but Elektra's a better fighter than Daredevil, I think, technically. I think she could hold her own against pretty much anyone, even though she got stabbed by Bullseye. So maybe she'd lose to Nightwing.
Yeah, I don't. Azula also might be up there for the but just most powerful pure bender.
What about Ozai? He's pretty good, right? Or is he
Oh
only
no, he
good when the
is.
comet is flying around?
No, he's at during the show itself is probably the most powerful firebender. But I would say Azula will become more powerful, but just the fact that she's 14 right now kind of detracts from her.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay, this is also my own opinion. There's no
No, this is fact.
evidence.
Could an avatar, because I think only an avatar could do this, could an avatar throw Sozin's comet into the sun? Maybe not the sun, but like could an avatar throw it off path?
I have no idea. I assume
Because
not, because then Roku might have just been like, all right, let's do this.
but wasn't Roku dead
No, I meant
during
when
the
like it went like tell Aang to do that.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean,
Because it's not on Earth
so maybe yeah,
technically.
maybe it's not technically Earth. Like maybe Toph couldn't bend the moon or like a Mars rock.
Yeah, there's probably a limit to how far something has to be for them to like bend it. And I assume that it's past said limit. So maybe if he like flew into space, but I don't think that would go well.
No, he wouldn't. But I don't know, because like, that's what I'd do. I'd try it at least. If I was the Avatar. If I was Aang.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, the only problem would be is you'd probably have to get up pretty high.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't. I don't know. I was gonna say it takes all four elements to do it, but I don't think it would. It only takes earth and fire, I guess.
Yeah, because we know that we can earthbend stuff that's not from Earth itself,
Wait,
because we see that with the space rock.
there's a space rock in Avatar?
Yeah, in the third season, there's a meteor that lands, and then he makes a sword out of the space rock. So
Who
he has
does?
a space sword, Sokka, but like Toph bends it.
Oh yeah.
He has a
I
bracelet
don't
for
remember
it,
that
I
at
think.
all. But
Big fan.
I am a fake fan.
You
I
should watch
love
it.
it
I think
though.
it's pretty easily the best cartoon I've ever seen
Well, you
and
haven't
best
seen,
show I've ever seen. So, well,
yeah,
Dark
Breaking
ATLA.
Bad.
No,
Breaking Bad is as good as Dark. I'll say it.
Breaking Bad is not as good as Dark, but Breaking Bad is very good.
You haven't seen Better Call Saul, so you can't actually
That's true.
argue with me when I say that Better Call Saul is better than Dark.
But
Yeah, you
Dark's
can.
better.
So okay, they can bend space rock. What
Yeah, so
is that just the only comet that happens? Is it like Halley's comet,
baby,
Sozin's?
I don't know.
Because is it just that specific comet that causes the fire powers to be better?
I guess. I don't know this. I just heard they explain it more, but
I
I
don't.
forget it. That's just the comment.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I can't argue with that. Okay. I mean, they probably couldn't, because like Aang couldn't move the moon, right?
No, I highly doubt it. Unless he's on the moon.
What if a bunch of avatars like joined forces within Aang?
That's
They
what the
all,
Avatar state
I know, but
is.
they like the avatar state. Is it literally every avatar of all time?
Yeah,
Yeah, that could probably move the moon, don't you
maybe.
think?
Again, I don't know how close they have to be to the moon or why they would do that. Because the moon's a spirit.
What the fuck? Just to mess with Katara.
The moon's a spirit. I don't know if they
Okay,
actually
not the
can.
moon, but like Sozin's comet. You want to get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
That is clearly dangerous because the Fire Lord people are clearly evil. They're the
Hmm.
Slytherin. So like you want to
Yeah,
get rid of that.
they're.
I'd get rid of that comet.
Yeah, I don't know if they can do anything like that.
They should. Do you think they should bring in aliens?
No.
What do you think could like genuinely ruin Avatar? Like obviously the movie is terrible. That didn't ruin Avatar. What if in the next one they brought in like aliens that land on Earth, or like a fifth
Yeah, I don't
kind of
know.
bending trees,
Free bending.
life bending,
They already added. There's some stuff in Korra that didn't ruin it for me, but like made me start like is are big reasons why I dislike the show.
like the sports ball thing.
I was fine with sports ball. The
Is that what it's
the
called?
biggest
What is it
one,
called in that?
fighting, pro fighting. I don't know, pro bending, but how they deal with spirits. Because after season two, they open portals, I guess would be the word, but like doors to go between the spirit world and the actual world.
For like anyone or
And
just
just
benders?
anyone. Like they
Oh,
open it up. And that fun fact is what causes people to like random people to become airbenders again. It was
wait, what?
weird. Yeah,
People weren't.
in season three and four, there's just a shit ton of airbenders because she opened the door, and that for some reason let airbenders exist again.
Wait, why they couldn't they weren't existing? Was Aang still the only airbender up until that
His
point?
son was the only one besides him, and then his grandkids were, but that's it.
Wait a minute. So it's genetic? I mean, it would be, I guess.
Well, kinda, because it's a cultural thing that like the people
Oh
who
yeah, there isn't a culture of airbenders. It's just Aang.
yeah,
So
it's
he
just him because all the other ones are dead. So he's the only one that still has the trait, I guess, and then passes it on to one of his kids, and then that kid Tenzin has his kids, and they can all airbend, I believe. So it's those four, and then once they open the portals, at like a shit ton of other ones can bend now, including Zahir, who's
oh.
the big bad. But
Oh, he's the big bad?
in season three,
Oh, he's part of the cool team of sports
yeah,
ballers.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
they
here.
handle spirits so badly in Korra. Like it pisses me off. So that
Oh,
almost got me like to hate the show. But then that was like in season three when it's the best season. But there were so many times where I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
okay. What if they brought aliens in and became like a
I
galactic? I don't know, because we're talking
I'd
about
probably
space
dislike that.
rocks.
I
I'm
feel
thinking
like
about Resident Alien again.
yeah, I don't think I would enjoy that.
No. What about demons? I guess they don't
They
have.
already
Do they
have
have a?
evil spirits.
But do they have an underworld? I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the next step would be because they already like have been showing like an industrial revolution with a bunch of new tech and that kind of stuff, and that'll probably have to continue.
I guess guns.
Yeah,
They can make. I mean, that's kind of a plot point in Attack on Titan.
was they made guns to shoot the
Spoiler alert. Wait, no, I'm not gonna. Are you gonna watch it?
probably, yeah.
Should I not say this?
How important is it?
Pretty important. I won't say it. But
Okay.
basically, guns at some point, like genuine, like military level guns,
Hmm.
become prominent, and that changes things.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna say how. But
Just
yeah, I
like
mean,
Art the Clown and Terrifier.
when he got that gun, it was
Yeah,
over for that lady.
it was.
But yeah, I mean, when they introduced guns in the Avatar world, what's the point of bending? I guess you could metal bend.
Yeah, maybe that's why they'll stop because in season four they make a giant ass mech suit.
Really?
Yep.
Who's in it?
The what's her name? Kuvira. She's the bad guy in season four.
That okay.
But
The
she
show does not sound very good.
no, season four is very good.
That's
It's not as bad as season two, but it's not great. And Kuvira's in a giant mech suit.
I mean, you have to do something aside from like because ATLA does benders fighting benders and it works.
Hmm.
You can't just do that again in Korra because then it's just the Star Wars sequels. It's the same thing again.
Yeah, but it's the story. It doesn't. I don't give a shit if it's more benders fighting each other. Like,
No, I know, but what would the conflict itself would feel recycled, I feel.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but like in Star Wars, they just redid the original trilogy.
Hmm.
And because like it's another empire and then the rebels come in and then things just happen the same way. It just felt recycled. I feel like if they did benders versus benders again, it wouldn't feel like the world progressed at all. Like in Star Wars, it's like, well, it's been 35 years, but we're still in the same place.
Yeah,
Like there's another empire.
that is one thing I like about Korra is they do like start it off with benders versus non-benders instead of like
Right.
benders versus benders, and then each season has a different villain
Right. And they progress the
and they have a
world.
different bending type. So it's not
Oh.
just like fire again or that kind of thing. It's water, water, and then all of them, and then earth. So you get to see different types of like
Right.
villains, which is nice.
Yeah. I do like in Korra how they progressed into like a industrial world sort of.
Yeah, and they start
Like
having movies and stuff.
when things kind of come to a relative sort of peace, like things start to progress in terms of like entertainment options, sports, things like that.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'll watch Korra. I'll rewatch Atla after I finish
just
Resident Alien, and then I finish. What else do I have to watch? Fargo.
yeah, watch season three of Korra. I don't give a
No,
shit
I'm gonna
about any
start from
other
the
season.
beginning. I'm gonna
Don't
start from
start
the
from the
beginning.
beginning because you'll
I'm
start
going to.
watching season two and you'll stop watching
No,
because
I
season two
won't.
is shit.
I'm really good at watching
So
stuff.
you can watch season one because I actually enjoyed it. That one's fine. And then
I don't
skip
like.
season two
I don't know if I've
or
ever actually
watch the
skipped a
ending.
season on my first watch.
Just watch the last episode of season two so you see how it ends.
How many
Watch season
episodes are
three.
there?
I don't think as many as Atla does. Let me
I hope it's
check.
like 10 to 15.
For episodes. Season two. Season one is 12 episodes. Season two has doesn't tell me. That's quite rude.
I can look on IMDb real quick.
No, I got
Well,
it. I got it. 14. And maybe you watch the last three of them.
okay.
And season three, watch the entirety of it, has 13. And season four has 13. So it does have less.
I'm just gonna rewatch Avatar and then I'll watch the movie.
Yeah, rewatch Avatar. Much better.
I thought about because I had a feeling I wasn't gonna get through all of Avatar, so I'm like, maybe I'll just watch the live action movie and pretend like I didn't understand what the prompt was. But then I thought about it, I'm like, that sounds really tedious.
It's probably worse. I don't think
No,
I
it
could
is
sit
worse. I
through it all.
guarantee it's worse. No
No, I mean
offense
like
to.
watching that movie is probably worse than having to watch all the
Oh
episodes.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I genuinely don't think the Netflix show is bad. Having not seen very much of it, I just wasn't in love with it. It didn't hook me like Resident Alien did, or the book Mindhunter.
I have to read. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to finish my Hunter.
That's why I texted you if you had finished it, because I feel like I don't know when you mentioned that. Was it before you watched Fargo?
Oh no, we started it like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, so it was after Fargo.
Yeah, I think it was after Fargo, and it's
Okay.
M and I, so I need to. We
Oh,
stopped to watch Adler real
what
quick
is
and then we'll
our
rewatch.
official correspondent have to say about the TV show?
I asked her two questions because I couldn't think of
Okay.
any other ones.
Were they better than my questions?
No, they're more broad.
Okay, good.
They're better than that one
So I
question.
worked hard. That was not a bad question. Which one was it?
I don't remember.
Oh, why did the Air Nomads play? What was their plan? Well, they were just telling Aang, and then they
Their
knew
plan
like
was to train him
I
as quickly
they
as
were
possible.
well, it's a dumb question. They're just like, let's just get it started,
Yeah.
even though
But
we're screwed.
it was, I asked her, did she like it? She said yes. I asked her to
Okay,
rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, and she said 6. And
that seems fair.
the one thing I was curious about is we'd watched the cartoon, but she did not remember season one at all. So like there were plot points that like were the exact same, and she was still trying to figure out what was going to happen.
I mean, I
So
barely remember season
it
one.
doesn't affect her. Like she didn't know that the blue spirit was Zuko.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah, so
I didn't
she
remember what
like
his name was though.
was sitting here trying to figure out like who it was for a little bit. So she wasn't as impacted as I was by like the bias of having seen the show and comparing it. And so she still liked it. Like it wasn't great, but she still enjoyed it.
Okay, what did
So
she think of the movie? Did you make her watch it?
I
You
will.
should trick her for April Fools. Be like, hey, you gotta
Well,
watch this. I'm
I'll
not
tell her,
gonna
oh,
watch it with you
I
though.
just found this live action movie. You
I can't
should.
believe this snuck under everyone's radar. It's amazing. But
Yeah.
sorry, I can't watch it with you because I'm busy.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I've got to go to the park. I'll be back in 3 hours.
3 hours. How long is that movie?
I don't know. Let me look real quick.
Honestly, you're right. I shouldn't even risk being anywhere near it.
I mean, you can watch it again if you want.
Oh, I will not. See if it's on anything. Oh, this is the the IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes were 9.3 and 100%. And I was like, no freaking way. But it was because of whatchamacallit.
The TV show, the
Yeah,
cartoon.
yeah.
4.0 out of 10. It is an hour 43. That's not long at all.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot we have
Is
Paramount.
it on Paramount?
The show is.
The show?
Yeah.
Which show?
ATLA.
The animated one?
Yeah.
Is it not on Netflix anymore?
No, it is, but I don't always have access on my TV.
Oh
So
shit, I forgot about that. Man, that sucks. You should move back to Europe.
yeah, I have it now because I was able to do the traveling thing again, but I don't know how long that lasts.
I don't know. If you can just do that every time, it's a slight annoyance, but
I think it lets me do it, and then I have to wait for a little bit before I can do it again.
see, one of the problems I had, like in rewatching, or not even rewatching, in watching the Netflix show, I knew that it was going to cover the same ground as the first season of the animated show.
Mhm.
And much like Emma, in my brain, I don't remember much about the first season, and all I remember is the parts where Aang gets out of the ice and they're on the northern, are they the northern or southern tribe, water tribe?
They start at the southern and end in the
Yeah.
northern.
I just remember them being there and like then they go penguin surfing or sledding. And my brain is like, that seems fucking boring. Like having seen that already, my brain is like, that's gonna be hard to get through again because like not much happens, things like that. So I was like hesitant to watch the live action one, but then I did and they got over that really quickly.
Yeah, that's kind of how I always felt for season one. Was it wasn't like I still loved it, but it definitely was the hardest one for me to get into. But rewatching it, I got into it immediately, which is
Remember
really
when you
nice.
bought all of Avatar on iTunes?
That was only season two, excuse me.
Oh, that was the entire thing.
Yeah.
I when did you become a big Avatar fan? Like I know you always liked it, but
It was 2020 because
okay.
I liked it and acknowledged it was a good show, but when I rewatched it as an adult was when I was like, holy shit, this is
Yeah, because
like
I watched it as it was
phenomenal.
coming out, but I feel like you were too young.
No, I didn't.
Like I
Or even
saw
I
the
watched
finale
occasionally.
live,
Ooh, you old
but I
man.
don't remember much of it. Well, I remember it now, but like I just remember being like, that's awesome, but I never watched it again. Actually, there was one period where it was on Amazon Prime, and I started it and again got to like the penguin surfing bit or sledding, and then turned it off.
That's insane.
I don't know, some of like certain kid shows I know are good, but it takes a while for me to get into them. Like I don't
That's
think
how I feel
Avatar
about
falls into this
Adventure Time.
category. Yeah, I can't get into Adventure Time. I know I will
Yeah.
like it, but it's a long way
Yeah.
before it switches, I feel, to being spectacular. Kind of like Batman the Animated Series. It's great, and I've seen most of it, but when I watch it, and like, periodically I'll just start from the beginning for that show. And the
Mhm.
first several episodes, like they're good, but they're just kid shows are kind of bland. And then I don't really settle into it. I don't get invested. And then eventually I do.
Yeah.
But it's a big year for sorry. I just saw
It's a big year.
big no, it's a big year for TV. Like we got a lot of franchise stuff, like Percy Jackson,
Yeah.
Avatar, Borderlands, Fallout. What else is coming out? I just thought of another one. What was it? Oh,
Invincible.
X-Men 97's coming back.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of stuff, a lot of good things. Kung Fu Panda 4, the movie
Comes
comes
out
out
like
next
next
week.
week.
I
Yeah.
might get to see that early, but I'm probably not going to go.
You should. I'm sure it'll be good. People
Yeah,
love that trilogy. I don't remember
it's a
it
great
very well.
trilogy. What do you think is the best trilogy of all time? We should do an episode on best trilogies, either comic book
Can I
trilogies
say one that
or
isn't a trilogy?
is it Toy Story?
It's Toy
That
Story.
counts. I
It was
feel.
Toy Story until the fourth one, and the fourth one's still good, albeit
I don't know. I
unnecessary.
feel like so. How does that work in your mind? Because I'm not sure how I feel about this, but like, so if there are three movies, it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
If there are six movies, it's two trilogies. But if there's five movies, is it a trilogy and then just two movies, or is it just five movies or four movies?
I think it is almost 100% relevant to the story being told. So if it ends at the end of that third movie, like the one specific
Okay.
overarching story ends, it's a trilogy. If it doesn't, it's not a trilogy.
So
So
I
it could be
guess
six movies and it's one continuous story the entire time. Like Harry Potter's nine. That's not three trilogies.
no. But
That's
then like
that's one overarching story.
Star Wars is nine.
Yeah, and that's three trilogies because it was designed to be three
I
trilogies. There's
guess
one
yeah,
specific story in each
there's
three
one like
movies.
broad narrative, but the
Yeah.
story does end each. Okay, I get what you're saying. I think you're
Yeah, and
right.
maybe like how it comes out too is definitely going to impact it. Because if they're close together, like bunched together, then it's more likely to be a trilogy.
So is Thor a trilogy and then a fourth one, or is that a quadrilogy?
I think that's a four. That's four because there wasn't even really an overarching story between all three. I feel
No.
like there's some aspects of it, but not like
We are
huge.
gonna do a best comic book trilogy episode. We can do that next week if you want. I don't know what we're doing next week.
That works. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I should not say anything until then.
Well, I'll just tell
Then
you all the ones that we'll have to go through.
Captain
Yeah.
America.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. No, we could either do. Would you rather do best comic book trilogies or best trilogies?
I feel like we'd run out too quickly if we do best comic book trilogy. So we can do
There's
best
more than
trilogies.
we think.
Unless are we doing like a bracket style again, or are we doing
Oh, we
just
could
talking about it?
either, I guess. Well, there's
Okay.
Iron Man, Captain America, Guardians, Spider-Man. We'll say Thor, even though it doesn't count. So that's
Okay.
five in the MC. No, Ant-Man. That's six in the MCU, right?
What about Avengers? Does that count?
No.
Okay. Because that would
So I
win.
guess okay. No, it wouldn't because Age of Ultron. I
Yeah,
like
but
Age of Ultron,
Infinity
but
War, Endgame, and the first one are OP.
yeah, okay, fine. We'll count it. I don't care. But then we also have the first X-Men trilogy, the second X-Men trilogy. I don't know if the second one counts because it starts with, we'll say Days of Future Past is nothing. It starts with Apocalypse, ends with Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
Wait,
And what
no.
about first
First
class?
Class, Days of Future Past is nothing, starts with First Class, ends with Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
We got Blade, Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man with Toblerone Maguire.
Mhm.
What else we got? Men in Black. Have you seen any of those movies?
I have seen the third one.
Why? Did you see that in theaters with me?
I think so, yeah.
You mean Dad?
Yeah.
Okay, let me. How many did I just name? 10, maybe. But
That is a lot. Kingsman, technically.
oh yeah, we should both watch The
I've
King's
never seen
Man.
I've not seen the Kingsman. I don't really want to.
Oh, The Dark Knight.
Did you say Batman?
No, I didn't
Oh,
get to
never mind
DC.
then.
I forgot about DC. The Wolverine movies, technically,
Yeah.
not gonna win. Well,
Logan carries.
the Wolverine is really good. I
Yeah,
thought that was really solid.
but Logan
But X-Men
carries.
Origins Wolverine, really not good. Unbreakable, the Shyamalan Glass, that technically counts.
I guess, yeah.
We've got there are plenty. We have only have you seen Blade 2 and Blade Trinity?
I've not, no.
Oh my God. I just found out what? Okay, so the Glass trilogy is called East Rail 177 trilogy.
Why?
I think. Have you seen Unbreakable?
I have.
So you know how Mr. Glass is causing train crashes to find out if someone's really strong?
Yeah,
I
that's
assume that was the train that crashed where we find out Bruce Willis is a superhero.
that's crazy. What a weird ass name for it.
Yeah, right? Shyamalan is it. I don't even, this might not be official. This website put Wolverine trilogy above MCU Spider-Man trilogy. Do you agree with that?
I don't know, because the two X-Men Origins Wolverine and the Wolverine
Should we
cancel each
not
other
talk
out.
about this?
Probably. And
I was like, if
Logan,
we're doing
again,
this,
Logan
is
carries.
Logan
Logan's better
better
than
than
all Spider-Men. Yes.
combined, though?
Combined, maybe not, but all
Would you
Spider-Men,
rather,
yes.
okay, would you rather Logan doesn't exist, but we get the MCU Spider-Man movies, or the MCU Spider-Man trilogy does not exist, but we get Logan?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, thank you. I came up with that. It wasn't Collider.
Give
That it
me
actually wasn't Collider. I came up with
give
that.
me 3 years to think about it.
I'll give you a week. How about that?
All I'll say is, given this is actually unrelated. Well, it's barely related to Spider-Man. The best trilogy, I think, is going to be Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, we can't do that yet though.
Yeah, but we can't. But I think that if it's even almost as good as Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, it is immediately the best trilogy of all time.
What about
No.
the
So maybe-
Glass East Rail 177 universe?
Okay, it's the second best trilogy of all time. No, I guess I shouldn't say trilogy, but this the best comic book trilogy of all time.
I don't know. Dune, if the third one's good, I'm a Dune stan now, everybody. The first one's really solid. I didn't love it. There's a reason why. I'm not gonna tell you because you haven't seen it, but
It's boring.
no, it's actually not boring. I didn't find it boring. I just didn't want
Okay.
to return to it. But then I did rewatch it and I was like, I get this now. And then I watched Dune Part 2 and I was like, okay, I love this. What it reminds me of is the Lord of the Rings trilogy is like a cultural phenomenon. They were huge movies. Everybody talked about them, still talk about them. A giant thing became like looking into the production side of things, like all of this. That's what
Hmm.
Dune is for me. I'm fascinated by the production behind this. It's hitting me really hard. Like I'm really invested in this world.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll do best comic book trilogies next week.
Sounds good.
We can do a bracket if I can. What's the lowest number of? No, we'll just do it. We'll just talk about it. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, any closing remarks? Any final thoughts on Avatar, the last live action Airbender?
Watch the cartoon. I don't even care if you've seen it already. Rewatch it.
Yeah.
That's
Do
it.
you think the new ones, the new animated cartoons, are going to be good, or are they going to be terrible?
I don't think they're going to be terrible. I think they're going to be solid, but
Okay. Okay.
I just hope they're like slightly better than Korra at least.
I don't know. I'll
Like
watch
I'm
Korra.
okay with Korra. I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. So if it's the same like as Korra, like quality wise, I think I'd be fine with that too, actually.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This has been Rand and Rhys. Good morning once again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I get one of these a year. Rhys gets one too, where we say we're gonna watch something, but we don't. And I got
Cool.
caught. I can pretend like I had seen it, but I didn't feel like lying.
Well,
So,
next week we'll watch the live action Avatar movie.
okay, well, I'm not gonna do that, but you made that claim. So,
I'm not gonna do it, and then you have to
should we
watch it
watch
because you
Blade
used your
2 and
one.
3?
What's it on?
I don't know. You know what's
I'll watch them.
baffling to me? The apparently Blade 2 is really good
Okay.
because it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. Blade 2 is on Sling
Sling. Okay.
and it's free on Sling.
Good.
What was
I
I
like free stuff.
Yeah, it's great, right? Anyway, send us an email at randandreese on the email at gmail.com. We should have picked something that's easier to say. But I won't change it now because I've made so many emails. I don't want to have to make another.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok at Not Rand's TikTok, Reddit, Not Rand's Reddit, Tumblr, Not Rand Tumblin', YouTube at Not Rand. This week I will finally release a Barbarella video. Yeah, I think it's going to turn out really
Let's
well. So
go.
leave a
I'm
comment.
excited.
If you want to be another hater of ours, please.
Feel free.
Also, I love that guy thought we were millennials.
I'm a millennial.
I'm a boomer. What was before boomers?
Let me look it up. What do I even look up? Generation
Before
names?
boomers? Yeah.
Oh, I'll just do that one. Before boomers. The greatest generation.
It was from the greatest generation.
That's yeah, 1910 to 1924
It's
are the
really
greatest
nice that guy
generation.
thinks I'm so young, that I'm a
Wait,
millennial.
what's the silent generation? Oh, the silent generation is the one before baby boomers. And then it's
Oh,
the greatest
fuck.
generation was before it, and then it goes the silent generation, and then it's baby boomers, and then it's Gen X, I think, Gen X, and then it's Gen Y. Yeah,
And then
Gen
Gen
Y,
Z.
and then Gen Z, and then
Why
Gen
is it?
Alpha right now, I think.
Can we stop with the naming of these generations? Because, first of all, I don't understand where the cutoff is. And secondly, can we pick better names?
Yeah, it was interesting we ended up at XYZ because that's like a natural
Yeah.
math thing, but now we have to change to go back to A.
Yeah, we're like, oh, because like boomers, that's fun. Gen
Yeah,
Z,
why is
millennial.
millennials?
Why can't we do like, I don't know. Because
We're
Gen Z
Zoomers.
makes sense. Zoomers. Yeah. And then the one
Yeah.
below us can be or below you, because I'm from the greatest generation. Can be tutors. That's all, folks.
They're tutoring us.
Yeah, they tutor us because we get
Yeah.
old and silly.
Let's just call them iPad kids. That's it. That's their entire generation name.
I feel like we are going to enter into because if these generational naming, I feel like are decided collectively. Like
Mhm.
it's a cultural decision that we make. It's not like some scientist. So I feel like we could probably take a vote as to what to name Gen Alpha, and iPad Kids might win.
Yeah, it has to be something like that because
We
so
are going to
many
get
of
to the
them are
point where
just
irony takes
obsessed.
over, where everything's a joke or it's like making fun of each other, which not great. But
It
all
depends.
right, it depends. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, everybody.
What should we name Gen Alpha?
What should
That's
we
your
name?
that's
Oh,
your
Thought
thought
Baby.
baby.
What would you name Gen Alpha? Can you top iPad Kids? Should we have a catchphrase?
Probably.
iPad Kids.
I'm I'm Rhys and I take everything seriously except for basketball.
He rolled his eyes when he said that. He was not happy having to do his catchphrase. My catchphrase gets to be wazzle wazzle.
Great. Top
I'm
tier
gonna cut that
catchphrase.
out. It's better than your catchphrase.
Mine's a reference. Mine's a
At least
throwback
okay,
that
fine. I'll
only
come up with
you
a
and
reference
one other
too.
person understands.
I'm going back to bed. It's been a good morning, but it's time to go back to bed. Sleep well, my
Right.
darlings.
Did I tell you my new catchphrase? Just life. I could
Yeah,
use that one. Yeah,
sure. What was it again?
I'm offended by how early it still is.
That could be how we start every episode. I say good morning with energy, and you go, I am offended at how early this is. Even though
Yeah.
should we start recording it super early just to like masochistically make us go insane?
Maybe. Because
I don't want
I'm
to do that.
normally it's like 7 p.m. and you feel like it should be later, so you're like, God damn it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's less of a I had to get up early and
I
more
mean, I
of a
have been
how is the
waking up
day
at
still
3
going
a.m.
on?
for no reason.
Yeah.
What is happening? It's great though. I've been very productive in terms of things that aren't watching Avatar. All right, goodbye, everybody.